Steve Lichtman is the president of Lifestyle Fitness Corp. He is with us this afternoon. Good afternoon, Steve. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Dennis, for having me.
So tell me a little bit about Lifestyle Fitness Corp.
Well, Lifestyle Fitness Corp is the name of my company, but we are really a franchisee for a larger company called Fitness Together. And Fitness Together is the world's largest one-on-one personal training company that we do personal training in private suites. That's our business.
Personal training in private suites. So folks come to you to get a workout. No two ways about it.
Yep.
Obviously, if everybody could, they'd love to have a personal trainer because it makes a big difference working out with someone, doesn't it?
I'll tell you, there's some people, Dennis, that are just self-motivated and get up on their own. And I always say to people, do you know anybody that gets up at like 6 o'clock in the morning and runs every other day 4 or 5 miles?
Bridget O'Brien. I'm
right,
married to her.
Oh, you know her. Okay, and you say, how the heck do you get the motivation to do
Where
that?
are you going, honey? What are you doing? I know, but I was thinking, out the door she goes.
Right, and she probably looks great.
Yep.
Right, and then, but on the other end of the spectrum, we all have a friend that's like, they're a couch potato.
That would be Dennis Vaughn.
Yeah, but Dennis, you don't look real plump here. Your listeners can't see you, but you look pretty
I'm
good.
a lazy bum. Thank God I have hockey that keeps me, going once a week out there. I cry about my knees whenever I get a big wah. I don't work out like I should, but I do at least get myself into the gym and catch a lift, once or twice a week. So that's keeping me okay, I guess.
Good for you.
But I am not my wife by any way, shape, or form.
Well, and in fact, Dennis, most people are not. If when we talk to companies, we might find, if you go into any crowd, you might find 1 out of 10 people that way. But more often than not, just take the other end of the spectrum. We all know somebody who is complaining, they're overweight, they're tired, but no matter what you say or do, and I could give them all the personal training in the world, they won't do it. Because unless they're ready to do it, they're just not going to. So what I'd like to talk about is the rest of us, the people in the middle, which is really the majority, who have good intentions, who belong to gyms, who go occasionally, but life gets in the way.
Actually know where it is. They know how to find it.
Right. They have a GPS and it says go to gym or go to Fitness Together.
Take a left.
Right. But life is busy. We have a million things going on. You guys talk about financial matters, and you've got family, and you've got relatives, and you've got animals, and all these things which get in the way. Mm-hmm. So what I say is, it's not entirely your fault if you're not exercising. Who taught you how to do these things growing up? And not only that, but if you do go out to a gym and you see all these people working out, it can be intimidating.
Sure it can. Sure it can. And some people go to the gym simply for the social time. They go spend 2, 3, 4 hours in the gym to see and be seen while they're doing a small workout, and other people get in there, get their job done, and move on. And some people like to be there for a little bit. It's kind of whatever floats your boat.
Exactly. I have friends that like to use the sauna. But that's not going to work out, and it's not going to help them lose the weight they want. And that's why we exist, because we understand that there are a number of people out there that have good intentions, but they need the accountability, and they need the support, the coaching, and they need to do it in a private environment where nobody else is watching what they're doing, and they need to be guided and help them get results. So that's what Fitness Together does.
Well, it's funny because much like getting out of debt, you have to have the first meeting with that man in the mirror.
Well, yeah, and you know what? And you have to make the decision to do something. And if you're not ready to do it, we can't force people.
You can't. Until people are prepared to do something, they're just not going to motivate themselves, period.
That's right. And, you can go to your doctor, and they'll say, hey, you know what? And how many of us have heard this? You've gained weight since I saw you last. Yeah, this and that. It's gotten in the way.
Oh, I got to cut out the soda.
Right, yeah, the soda. Yeah, 5 of those a day. But so then you ask them and say, okay, doc, what do you want me to do? I want you to exercise and go on a diet. Well, tell me, what do you want me to do? But they don't really prescribe what it is that we should do. And they might refer us out to somebody for nutrition, but what do you do for exercise? That's the problem.
Now, just a pet peeve of mine, and I have to be careful, I don't want to jump on the soapbox, but when I was a young man, 358,000 years ago, we had gym all the time. We had PE. It was a requirement. You had to go down to the gym. You spent at least 45 minutes or an hour. You had to take a shower after the fact. Come on, it might be hokey, but the old days out of Porky's where everybody had a uniform, at least you were in the gym and doing something. And if you were lucky enough to be on a team, you at least learned a workout regimen. If you were none of the above, you don't know the first thing to do when you're in a gym.
Well, that's true. And today, and I heard a statistic recently, if one of your listeners corrects me if I'm wrong, but I think of all the states in the country, only one requires physical education.
Oy.
And I think it's Indiana or something. So a lot of them are electives, and you look at things like that and you say, look at our kids, with all the technology they have today, the video games and TV and everything, all these things which are distractions, but they're not moving. And by the way, since the year 2000, 1 out of every 3 kids born in this decade will have diabetes in some time in their lifetime. That's 1 out of 3. They're going to be overweight and they're going to get sick.
Well, there's 3 of us in the room right here, so 1 out of the 3 of us, that will happen to if we were born in this decade. Period. End of report.
I see a couple of good, slim-looking guys here, so
it may not be us.
I think we're in a good place.
Statistically, that's what we're talking about.
But back to what you were saying, Dennis, that the gym of yesteryear, when you'd actually have to climb the rope and ring that bell at the top, and you would actually have to do things.
You had to learn to play volleyball. You had to learn to play indoor soccer. You had to run up and down the floor. Period.
It wasn't that long when I was in high school, and the only thing mandatory during gym class was, it used to be to run the laps around the gym at the beginning of gym class, which wasn't enough to begin with. And then it got dumbed down to you can walk the laps. And if you wanted to opt out of the rest of gym, you could sit on the bleachers and do your homework.
And do your homework as long as you walk 3 times around the gym or something. Yep. And that to me is just, I get it. We have budget cuts. It's a difficult time. A lot of things are being cut back. But that's one of those things where phys ed and the arts just... Me personally, were I a magic wand and could just go boop, I would put that everywhere because people need to learn some form of a workout, some form of a regimen, don't they?
They've got to get moving to start, absolutely. And I have a son, he plays football for Stoneham High School, and they have a regimen over the summer. And a lot of kids and his friends, they'll work out together. But the thing that people also have to understand, and why a lot of people I don't think don't exercise, is I think they're afraid of hurting themselves. That if you don't know how to do it correctly, and unless you're in a real strength and conditioning program, as he is with one of his coaches,
right?
A lot of kids can hurt themselves. And the same for adults. The older we get, you talked about your knees as you get older. I'm sure 20 years ago it wasn't as big an issue. but now that you're 80,
I can only dream of those days.
But
it's true.
Doing it safely is really important. And I think a lot of people out there are nervous because they're not sure, if they do something, are they going to hurt themselves? And then if you do tweak something, the natural inclination is saying, maybe I shouldn't exercise. And that's really, a lot of times that's the opposite. It's getting the blood flowing and doing it correctly so that you can build up your muscles, build up your stamina, and just enjoy life.
I find the program The Biggest Loser to be absolutely brilliant at marketing and absolutely brilliant at inspiration, because they really do it, and you can see the transformation from these people who are so big that they get bounced off the treadmill, for crying out loud, and then over the 6, 8, 10 weeks, what a different person they become.
Absolutely. I mean, I think what it does is, for people who watch that show, it inspires them to say, oh my gosh, this person, and the medical term is morbidly obese, when you see these people who are 300-400 pounds and more, and by the way, there are a lot of people in that category. The thing that people have to understand is that, these people, they are being monitored very closely. They're being pushed, and they have people checking them out constantly.
We're not suggesting that somebody just jump up and go to the gym next week, but you did touch on one of the key factors that at least helped with me to go to the gym was the intimidation factor, and getting over that intimidation factor. I'm a skinny little waif. If I stick my tongue out and stand sideways, I look like a zipper. I mean, come on, we know all these bad ones. I look like if I had white sneakers and a white hat on, I look like a Q-tip, okay? All of those. I can't lift that weight. It's so heavy. I look so bad. Simmer down, because you guys can put them on the right track.
Well, that's right. And the thing is, if you're in a gym situation, it can be very intimidating. It's great for people who are comfortable there, but for a lot of people who are not and don't know what to do, they can come to us. We can put together a program designed around their goals, their objectives, and we do everything. We put them in position. We show them how to do it, and it's a gradual building process. You're not going to start off running a race tomorrow. You're not going to lift 200
you're not benching 225.
Right. And exactly. Plus we do some very funny-looking exercises, but they're all meant in a functional way to help us live and feel good and do the day-to-day things we want to do at work, at play, with our kids, with our grandkids, and that's what we're about.
And improve your self-esteem. This is the Money Matters Radio Network.